So now that we know some ways to classify cultures, the next logical step is to find out the relationship between culture and communication. So are those two interdependent or independent?
Well, I don't think it's either neither dependent nor interdependent on culture. I think if you don't have any form of communication, then what is culture, right? So it actually goes back to how do you define culture? So if you define culture as the accepted norms, the accepted behaviors, our values, shared set of beliefs, if that is culture, then we need to have a way to communicate that, right? So going back to the original story of being in the cave and going to hunt for the buffalo, right? We would need a signal between us on the buffaloes coming this way or turning right or left or whatever. That inevitably becomes a code between us, right? Mm-hmm. Then you get a third person involved. We want to explain that to the third person on this is the code. And the fourth, that becomes culture. That's how culture evolves, right? Culture is always evolving. It's not just a thing. Culture is very subjective. So what people try to do is we find people want to think about culture as being objective. Let me put a new number on it, right? Let me be numerical. They are on this score at this type of dimension. It's very subjective. It's based on your own upbringing. It's based on what's your data point, right? Because all of us have a culture that we grew up in. We tend to use that as our starting point, right? Our measure. So it's like when you said coming from, Romania through to the UK, there was different communication styles, right? You went, wow. But imagine if you were going from the UK through to Spain, right?
You'd freak out.
Like, man, what are these people doing? Right? It's like, I'm going to Italy. Like, it's like.
Yeah, you would freak out a bit, I guess.
Well, yeah, you freak out because you go, this is very abnormal. All right. And why it's only abnormal? Because it's not normal for you. It's not abnormal for the Italians, right? Because that's how they do it anyway.
Yeah, I guess it comes to like anything that is human oriented, it cannot be fully objective ever. So, yeah.
That's right. Yeah. That's always a level of bias, right? We all bring bias into any interaction. Yeah. Bias keeps us alive. It helps us navigate life. So therefore, we just need to be conscious that the challenge with it is we have biases which we are conscious of, and then we have biases which we are unconscious of. And those are the things that trip us up.